Let's roll. I just take 20 bucks. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, May 11th, 2021, and this is a regular meeting of the Kings County Board of Supervisors. Due to issues arising from COVID-19, the board is using a teleconferencing format for today's meeting. We are all participating via the World Wide Web. If you'd like to make a public comment today, please make sure you are identified by name in the WebEx system. For those interested in commenting during unscheduled appearances, please use the raise your hand feature and wait to be recognized. Each speaker will be allowed up to 2 minutes for public comment. Each vote today will be a verbal or voice vote so that members of the public can hear how each member has voted. After we have had a motion and a second regarding each item we have taken up today, we will be doing a roll call vote by district. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Joe Neves.
Here.
Richard Valley.
Here.
Doug Verboon.
Here.
Craig Peterson.
Here.
Richard Fagundes.
Here. Very good. We have 5 members in attendance today. At this point, we will move to the invocation. We have today with us Pastor Chad Fagundes from the Koinonia Church. Welcome, Chad.
Good morning. Thank you, guys. Go ahead and bow your heads wherever you're at and pray with me. And so, Father, I just thank you for your goodness. I thank you for another day, reminded of the psalmist where he sings, your mercies are new every morning. And I'm so thankful, God, that today your mercies are new. I pray, Father, for today. I pray for wisdom and discernment for the board. And I pray for everybody that is in this telecom call, God, that you begin to just manifest your presence in their life. I don't know where everyone's at, and I don't know, Father, their relationship with you, but I do know that we can love you because you first loved us. And so, God, I ask you to reveal yourself today and that your presence would be manifested in a very real way. And I thank you, Jesus, for who you are, and I pray that there would be a blessing over the Kings County and that God's favor would be with us, those who dwell here in the Kings County. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chad. Please join me in the flag salute. Ready? Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with justice and all for all. All right, next we'll move to unscheduled appearances. Any person may directly address the board at this time on any item on the agenda or any other items of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. 2 minutes are allowed for each item. First up, we have Fire Chief Lynch. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Bill Lynch, Kings County Fire Department. I just want to take a minute to inform the board and publicly inform the community that recent promotion of to Assistant Chief Josh Cunningham from Battalion Chief to Assistant Chief. So we're really happy about making this promotion. Josh has been with the agency for many, many years, rose through the ranks from FAE, Fire Apparatus Engineer, to Fire Captain, to Battalion Chief, and now to the Assistant Chief. So, we do have a system in place that helps people move through the ranks, and Josh is a stellar employee, and we have big expectations and big hopes for him going forward with the agency. So just letting your board know that. I also want to let your board know that the current Assistant Chief, Steve Alonso, who came back to help us out, his last day will be Thursday. Chief Cunningham will take over the full duties on Monday. Chief Alonso will be leaving us on Thursday. He works 4 days a week. And I want to publicly thank him for coming back and helping the agency get through this transition time and through this transition phase, and appreciate all of his help and support and guidance that he's given myself and also to the employees of the agency. So again, promotion of Battalion Chief Josh Cunningham to Assistant Chief, and we'll be saying goodbye to Assistant Chief Steve Alonso and thank him for all of his help. So thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Chief, and congratulations to Josh. I know he's been a longtime member of our fire department, and he clearly has the emotion and drive to move the fire department forward. And so, and congratulations, and also thanks to Steve for all of his service in, as you said, the transition time. But I know we should make Josh give a little speech, but he's probably conveniently not available.
No, Mr. Chairman, I think he's on the line.
Uh-oh.
So
Well, he better get up. He better
There
stand
he
up.
is.
There he is. What say you, Mr. Cunningham?
Thank you guys for this opportunity. I can't wait to work with you guys and move forward and make this department better than it is, and work with Chief Lynch, and looking forward to the future.
Hey, well, thank you, and congratulations. Well deserved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Congratulations. Right. Other public comment?
Having one with their hand raised or written comments.
Very good. Then we'll move to item 3, which is approval of the minutes from May 4th, 2021.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Fagundes, second by Verboen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We'll move now to the consent calendar. Any additions, deletions? If none, move
I'll make
for.
the motion to approve the consent calendar as presented. Nev seconds.
Okay, we have a motion by Verboen, second by Nevs. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. And now we'll move to item 5, which is regular agenda items. And we start with the District Attorney's Office. Good morning.
Good morning, Board. This is Phil Espenshade from the District Attorney's Office.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're asking your board today to allocate a full-time equivalent victim witness advocate 1-2 to budget unit 216300 and adopt a budget change. There's no fiscal impact to the current budget as the funding exists within the Victims of Crime Act budget unit. Now, as your board probably remembers, we have the MVC, which is Mass Victim Casualty Command Center. We have the truck. This is our last step, is the Mass Victim Advocate to go along with that. And while that position is being created, we're working with Human Resources. We'd like to underfill that position. Unfortunately, we just lost a very talented extra help advocate to an adjoining county, and we've got a significant caseload, and we'd really like to have somebody kind of underfilling that for now, get everybody up to speed and be ready to actually deploy. And this is something we hope we never need, this Mass Victim Casualty Command Unit, but we probably will. And unfortunately, with the way the accidents and the driving under the influence situations are going on our freeways, it's probably going to happen sooner than later. So we asked your board to approve this item, and it will really be a benefit to the entire county.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Bring it to the board.
Approve as presented. Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Abstain.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 4 in favor and 1 abstention on the item. And that includes item B as well. Are we good there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we will move now to item 5B, which is Public Works Department, and Dominic.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Dominic Tyberski, Public Works. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. I'm before your board this morning to request adoption of a resolution proclaiming May 16th through May 22nd of 2021 National Public Works Week here in Kings County. Since 1960, the American Public Works Association has sponsored National Public Works Week to bring attention and recognition to the men and women across the nation who provide an invaluable public service in many forms. Here at the county, the 80-plus public works employees provide roadway design and construction oversight, roadway maintenance and repairs, janitorial services, parks and grounds management, building maintenance and improvements of all county facilities, central plant management, which provides heating and cooling to most of the government center buildings, capital project construction and improvement oversight, county surveyor's office, and fleet management. This, of course, is the 30,000-foot view of public works and does not accurately quantify the multitude of services provided by this department. Every department here at the county, it should be noted, provides an invaluable service to the public and deserves recognition for such. However, I do appreciate this opportunity to recognize the men and women of the Public Works Department. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Very good. I mean, thank you. Questions, comments?
Comment, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Supervisor.
Thank you. I just want to take 10 seconds to also say, this job, it's a job that rarely gets thanks. It's a job that usually the men and women in the department, they hear about the complaint. And so as Dominic said, they do go above and beyond, and especially in our rural towns. You see Public Works working parades, festivals, but anything as simple as getting a light bulb replaced in a neighborhood in a timely manner, people do appreciate that, little things like that. And this is definitely worthy of the proclamation and the resolution. And if you're ready, Mr. Chair, I'm happy to make a motion to pass as presented. Thank you.
Yeah, we did have a motion. You're more than welcome to make a second.
Oh, thank you. Second.
Okay, very good. So we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We'll move now to item 5C, which is administration. Good morning, Ms. Kim.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Rebecca Campbell, County Administrative Officer. This item is requesting your board's support for a letter of support on behalf of the board for the University of California's Division of Agriculture and Natural Resources. The division is requesting funding out of the state budget, and they provide local programming through the UC Cooperative Extension, where advisors and staff are embedded in county government through a memorandum of understanding and connect the talents of the university to the local communities. Kings County does have a partnership with the university, and the County of Kings provides vital programs to serve both urban and rural areas throughout the state. We do have our director, Karmjo Ranhawa, on the line, and she may want to expand on the program, but the request is to request your support towards their request to the state for funding.
Thank you, Rebecca. Karmjot, welcome this morning.
Hi, good morning, supervisors, and thank you so much, Rebecca. I just want to introduce myself to all of you again. My name is Karmjot Randava, and I am the County Director for Cooperative Extension here in Kings County. And as Rebecca mentioned, we have had a cooperative memorandum of understanding with the County of Kings since 1918. So we've been in the county providing research and education support in ag and natural resources for the last 103 years. We provide a vital service alongside with our Ag Commissioner team to provide research on ag, natural resources, water, soil, agronomy, pomology, you name it, we provide that service. And over the last 10 years, unfortunately, the continuation of multi-year flat budgets and budget cuts for the UC from the state office directly for our department, which is Ag and Natural Resources, has impacted the programming and technical assistance that's been available to Kings County. And we are aware that we're not the only ones feeling these impacts. So we are requesting from the governor's budget a permanent augmentation to the ANR budget to bring their budgetary line item up to rebuild Cooperative Extension's footprint, not only throughout the state, but in Kings County, and to permanently bolster ours and other communities throughout the state. Our partnership with Kings County is strong, and having a letter of support from our Board of Supervisors will go a long way in helping us communicate not only with the State Senate Budget Committee, but also with other counties throughout the state that see Kings County as a leader in supporting ag and natural resources, especially here in the San Joaquin Valley. So I'm hopeful you're able to review our letter of support, and if there's any questions that you have, I'm happy to answer them.
Well, thank you. And, I mean, as a past farmer and, everything, works well in good times, but, it's in those challenging times when, the specialists are so vital to our, operations and, we never know what we have until it's gone. And those folks just provide a vital resource, to the industry. And, it's the industry of Kings County. And so we always respect and support the relationship we have with you and the cuts that you've sustained over the last few years have been challenging like everyone else. But I guess, over the last 2 days, we've heard about this windfall of funds in California. I noticed there's announcements this morning again on homelessness, yesterday on drought. And, that should hopefully make its way through to other resources as well. So I'm hopeful, but and I'm in full support of this letter this morning.
I support that as well, and I'll make a motion to approve. I've worked with the Ag Extension Office most of my entire life. It's a shame to see it dwindle down to nothing. And if you need advice to help you with your farm, and as we transfer from row crop to tree crop, it's important to have someone here to help represent the people that can't afford to pay a consultant to come to the ramp. So I think this is a great opportunity, and hopefully we get it reestablished. So that's my motion.
Second that. Very good. Thank you. So we have a motion by Verboen, second by Fagundes. Madam Clerk, would you please call a roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. Karmjot, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you so much, board. I really appreciate your support.
Thank you.
And thank you. All right, we'll move to item 2.
And Domingo is on the line.
So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good morning. Domingo Cruz, one of your administrative analysts in the administrative office. So this morning, I'm here to request that your board adopt a resolution authorizing the county administrative officer to submit a youth program and facilities grant program application and to sign an agreement with the Board of State and Communication if awarded. So on April 9, 2021, the Board of Community Corrections released an allocation-based pro rata to all counties based on county juvenile population, ages 12 to 17. Request for applications for the youth programs and facilities grant program. Kings County Administration and Probation Department have been collaborating on the grant proposal. So the grant, if awarded, would fund the establishment of a technology laboratory within the current juvenile center. Your action this morning has no impact to the county general fund. If awarded, the Kings County would receive approximately $47,086 over the grant period, beginning June 10, 2021 and ending June 1, 2024. This is the maximum amount that Kings County, as part of the small counties category, could receive. So on September 30th, 2020, Governor Newsom signed Senate Bill 823, Chapter 337, Statutes of 2020, which began the closure of the state's Division of Juvenile Justice. Acronym is DJJ, realigning those state functions to county governments. Under SB 823, DJJ intake will close for most youth on July 1st, 2021. Then in Kings County then becomes fully responsible for housing, programming, and treatment of youth at higher offense and needs levels who can no longer be committed to DJJ. So this realignment will significantly change the current population of committed youth to include many youth and young adults who have graduated from high school and have need for post-secondary education and vocational training. The county programs proposal involves the development of a technology laboratory within the current juvenile center facility, where the youth and young adults can access both post-secondary education and vocational training, facilitated by the County Jobs Training Office. The realigned youth will be housed in the Kings County Juvenile Center 100 unit. Currently, this unit does not have internet capability or computers and other required technology and furniture for the use of youth who are high school graduates. Therefore, we are seeking to develop a computer and technology lab for the youth to access online post-secondary education and vocational training. So with this capability, the county will be able to provide robust educational and vocational training necessary for the young adults to be able to compete for good paying jobs upon transition back to the community. So the grant application is ready for submission, and if your board approves, the staff will submit the application tomorrow, May 12th, 21st. With that, and barring any question, I respectfully request that your board adopt a resolution authorizing the county administrative officer to submit a youth programs and facilities grant program application and to sign an agreement with the Board of State and Community Corrections if awarded. Thank you.
Thank you, Domingo. Okay. So at this time, we'll bring it back to board for discussions, questions, comments.
For approval. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Fagundes, second by Verboen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Hey, we have 5 in favor.
Thank you.
Motion carries, and we'll move now to item 5D, which is again, administration and public health. Good morning.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Rebecca Campbell. This morning, I have a mix of updates for you from the state and federal side, and then I will turn it over to Director of Public Health, Edward Hill, who also has some updates for your board. This is regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. And wanted to let your board know that a California appellate court did reverse a Superior Court judge's prior ruling that banned Governor Newsom's from using executive orders to enact a change existing statute as a component of his public health emergency management authority this week. So the California Appeals Court did side with Newsom on the emergency powers, but so we'll see how that turns out. Also, the U.S. Treasury Department started a soft launch of its new portal for emergency rental assistance program grantees to apply for this funding. City and county governments with populations greater than 200,000 are eligible to receive another round of direct funding from the U.S. Treasury and should have received information directly. Counties and cities with populations under 200,000, which Kings County would be in there, may receive funds through their state government. The Newsom administration has yet to announce how it will allocate its share of the funds it receives. The U.S. State District Judge and District of Columbia issued a decision this week vacating the U.S. government's nationwide ban on evictions, ruling that the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention exceeded its authority imposing the moratorium. If you recall that in September of 2020, the CDC issued an order barring landlords from evicting tenants for non-payment of rent, citing a 1944 public health law that gives the agency certain powers to prevent communicable diseases from crossing state lines. Congress and the Biden administration have since extended the ban, which was slated to expire on June 30th. The Department of Justice announced it would be appealing the ruling and has requested to stay to keep the CDC order in place pending resolution of the litigation. The Public Policy Institute of California released a survey this week on Californians' views towards vaccinations. This survey was conducted on April 14th and reveals demographic, geographic, and political party preferences difference. I'll just give you a couple of highlights. Overall, 4 in 10 Californians, or 39%, report that they have already had the vaccine. 1 in 4, or 26%, say they will get the vaccine as soon as it's available. And 15% say they will get it either in a few weeks or a few months after it is available. Residents in the Central Valley, 8% wait at least a year and 26% 20% reported they will not get the vaccine. I wanted to let your board know that if you hadn't heard already, yesterday, the U.S. Treasury released the official guidance, a quick reference guide, and final county allocations for the coronavirus state and local relief funds. These are the American Rescue Plan Act funds. I will be coordinating an internal working group, and our goal is to bring back a study session to your board mid to late June. The allocation that Kings County will receive, that the official allocation did come out yesterday as well, and the county will be receiving $29,706,802. So I wanted to let your board know that. And so now I'll turn it over to the Director of Public Health, and he has some updates for you as well.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Ed Hill, Public Health. As usual, I'm going to start off my report by reminding everybody the simple steps we can take to protect ourselves from communicable diseases such as COVID-19. And those are frequently wash your hands for 20 seconds or more. Don't touch your face with unwashed hands. Stay hydrated with water. A hydrated cell is a healthy cell. Stay home if you're sick and wear a cloth face covering to protect yourself and loved ones. As mentioned last week, I will no longer be providing the daily numbers as those are all available on our website. We do continue to watch hospital data closely, and we are seeing a decline in both medical surge, our general admissions, and ICU both locally and regionally, which is a welcome sign. As of 5/10/2021, the local hospital had 6 COVID patients in med surge or general admissions and 0 in the ICU. Our PPE status has not changed, and we're still maintaining a 60-day supply of PPE for all of our healthcare facilities. The state did announce last week that they will begin to distribute stockpiled PPE and what's known as pushbacks to skilled nursing facilities, and all 3 of the facilities in Kings County will be receiving an allocation of masks, gowns, gloves, things along those lines. We don't have much detail into the quantities or when they plan to arrive, but as soon as I get that information, I will update your board when I learn more. The mobile testing program site schedule for this week is on our website. We continue to deploy our health education team to add additional testing events and to register people for vaccines through MyTurn. Also part of the epidemiological lab capacity program, we will start to look at expanding testing through local community-based organizations, and we will begin those discussions either this week or next week to start expanding testing and put it in more reliable and available spots throughout the county on a Monday through Friday basis. Our current metrics for the blueprint are our new cases per 100,000 is at 4.4. Overall testing positivity is at 1.5%. Our testing positivity in the lowest quartile of the Healthy Place Index is at 2.5%. So this means our new cases per 100,000 meets the orange tier criteria. Our overall testing positivity meets the yellow tier criteria, and our testing positivity for the HPI meets the orange tier criteria. I'd also like to point out, as we experience cases that are as low as we're seeing now, when we have pockets of cases, such as an entire household or several households, it will have an effect that folks will see on our dashboard as a spike in our testing positivity, and this will be more visible as a result. My point is with numbers as low as we have been seeing, any change in those will be identified as a spike. We do watch this data closely, and we do and have, as I'd mentioned in the past, intensified our case management, contact tracing, and case investigation process, as well as making sure those folks are linked with services to help facilitate isolation. Our test per 100,000 has remained steady. It is at 426. That's a daily average. The state median now is at 335. As mentioned in the past, until the blueprint goes away on June 15th, we do get credit for testing in excess of the state median. Our new cases per 100,000 rate, as mentioned earlier, is at 4.4%. That's the adjusted rate. The unadjusted rate is at 5.1. Also, on Friday, May 7th, Cal OSHA posted updates to the emergency regulations for COVID-19. The updates include the adoption of the CDC and CDPH masking guidelines for those individuals at work. The regulations will be heard by the Office of Administrative Law on May 20th with a possible implementation date shortly thereafter. On the vaccine front, last week, Public Health administered 1,298 vaccines. It was a much better week for us. We continue to have plenty of available appointments in all of our clinics, And as mentioned before, we still remain or have the capacity to provide 700 doses a day. Also, as a reminder, at our request, the state is working to move the OptumServe vaccine site to another county. They're scheduled to be out of that site by the end of the month, and at that time, Public Health will move our Hanford vaccine operations to this location, which will allow us to monitor patients after being vaccinated in a climate-controlled facility, which is necessary due to the coming temperatures that often arrive or always arrive here during the summer. It'll also allow us to provide our non-COVID practices, such as tuberculosis, valley fever, sexually transmitted infections, and the other things that we do on a regular basis without overcrowding our Hanford clinic. So far, Kings County providers have administered 64,823 vaccines. And then yesterday, the FDA announced the Pfizer vaccine for the 12 and 15-year-old population has been expanded under the emergency use authorization. The CDC is meeting on this topic tomorrow, and we anticipate they will also approve this 12 to 15 population expansion as well. As mentioned last week, we anticipate this coming, and we've been in discussions with the third-party administrator in the state on how to receive vaccine and distribute them to local doctors' offices and pediatricians, as this is a much better controlled area for these vaccines to be administered, and we continue to work through those processes. Just by way of a reminder, the Pfizer vaccine is one of the most complicated vaccines as far as logistical movement because it does require the ultra-low freezers to maintain the vaccine at a state before they are thawed and administered. As Ms. Campbell pointed out, vaccine hesitancy continues to be the prevailing issue, and a large number of counties have requested not to receive additional vaccines this week as vaccine demand continues to decrease. We did submit our application that I brought up to your board last week for additional vaccine funding, and I have included the possibility of incentives and other programs to bolster vaccine distribution in the future. If awarded the grant, we will be bringing that contract back to your board for approval. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Thank you. Questions? Any further comments by?
No further comments.
Good. All right. Thank you for that. No action required there. So we do have a public hearing at 10 a.m. We're a little early, so this time we'll move to board member comments.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. Did you call for comments on the end of the presentation? I was waiting for a question.
Yeah, I did call for him, but go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Just two, Mr. Chair. One, Rebecca, the 29 million, is that up from the anticipated 23 million? Or did I have that 23 million figure wrong?
It was always rough. It was always estimated at about 29 million for the County of Kings.
Okay, thank you. And then the other question is in regard to the study session, as we're seeing this money roll out from Washington, D.C. to Sacramento, then filtered out to the counties. As we know at the federal level, our representatives had reached out to us on asking us for priority projects with this funding anticipated coming down. And for my trip up to Sacramento last week, that seems to be the conversation taking place up there as well, that those members are looking for those projects as well and may have an opportunity to use the monies under this umbrella to get some things done in their districts. So at the county level, I don't expect a big answer here because I know the study session's coming down, but could you just brief us on the format? Are you going to the department heads for projects again? Or what is your general thought process right now? And I know it's early and we don't have the 29 million yet.
Thank you, Supervisor Valley. Actually, the guidance came out yesterday and it's over 150 pages long. And it's, from what I understand, it's somewhat of a preliminary guidance as well. So the guidance will drive the working group. It has a number of areas that it talks about. So it will be limited to folks that are involved in those areas. And that's what we'll bring back. There is some infrastructure type areas So we will evaluate that and we'll bring that back during the study session.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Supervisor Boone.
Have nothing new to report.
All right, thank you. Man, stretch it out there.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Continue to announce sports at Lemoore High School with the baseball and softball programs. With Tulare County opening up a little bit more, a few of the games have been transferred back over to Tulare County. So, but we continue to have at least one or two games. The Thursday night market here in Hanford kicked off its 2021 season with a good crowd. Everything's been moved to the Hanford Civic. Back to music, back to adult beverage areas and food. So we'll see how the weather affects it this week and in the future. The American Legion Post 100 resumed its Friday morning breakfast. That was kind of a tradition prior to COVID, and they had to shut that down during the COVID operation. But this past Monday opened up back for that operation. They traditionally have either biscuits and gravy or pancakes, as well as some kind of either ham, sausage, or scrambled eggs. Continue to announce at the Lemoore Raceway, 73 cars, 5 classes, another nice night to be out at the racetrack. The Portuguese Fraternal Society of America had its official visit on Mother's Day in Stratford. This makes about 10 years, 12 years since this organization took over and combined 3 other Portuguese organizations, the IDS, UPVC, and a couple of others. And the organization continues to do well, provide many tools of opportunity, either for retirement, educational accounts for kids and grandkids, and just a real good organization if you're in need of any financial assistance. Everything from educational savings accounts to annuities. And then the network for high school sports continues to expand, and we're able to watch a few more high school sports. So we'll watch the grandkids both from Virginia as well as LeGrand. So be able to sit home and watch high school sports and drink an adult beverage and be in a good shape. So with that, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Valley.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just as a follow-up to the letters that our board voted on last week for you to send to our senators, Padilla and Feinstein, Mr. Chair, I reached out to the local reps and those senators' offices and had a few good conversations, some follow-up conversations, and to have our local reps here in California who are from the Valley, as we know as well, in regards to the Kettleman City pedestrian bridge funding request. And so speaking with them, that's a project that makes sense to them, and they've passed through there. So to have that local eye on it and that local support there, I think it's going to help us as much as to the extent it can, as they communicate to their bosses, Senator Padilla and Senator Feinstein. So I want to thank them for that. I sent Rebecca and you some information on one of the conversations there. Also, on that note, as I reported last week, Assemblymember Rudy Salas had said yes to a meeting on the topic of the Kettleman City Bridge. So I traveled up to Sacramento on Wednesday, met with him, and he has agreed to put that on his list as well as they're looking at that funding. So I want to thank Assemblymember Salas for taking the time to hear us out. Obviously, he's well aware of the issue prior to me getting there, and he's been through there several times, as that's his district as well. As we know, I do want to thank Chris Comp, our state lobbyist, for working very swiftly. Chuck Jeloin and Jason Segan and Carol for helping foreseeing the issue here, for monitoring our meetings, and quickly working with Assemblymember Salas' office and helping to line up the meeting. I want to thank Chuck Jeloin for even taking the time to travel up and meet me in Sacramento and attend the meeting with Assembly member as well. And then on another note, I want to thank former Assemblywoman of Copara, who's very helpful. She lives up there. She works there full time for a private company, but she's has very good relationships up there. And so she got me an audience as well to sit down and talk about Kings County and talk about this bridge there. And then lastly, I do want to thank you, Mr. Chair, and Rebecca. Rebecca, that was a really good forum last week that you helped put together. The presenter had a lot of good information. Those local community service district directors and the staff, I know they appreciated that information. So you got to give credit where credit is due. So I want to thank you, Rebecca, and maybe you could also just point out the other members of your staff who helped with that. But that was an outstanding job, and thanks for leading us through that. Good job chairing that forum, Mr. Chair, with the folks you had in Sacramento and spread about. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, for me, a lot of phone calls the last couple of weeks with respect to things occurring, and obviously yesterday the big announcement by the governor on the drought issue and bringing another 41 counties into that. There was also a significant announcement on infrastructure and the resilience package that came with that. I think it's going to be, really helpful and finally maybe getting some traction on infrastructure. Some money also available for community service districts as well, specifically water districts and resilience infrastructure. So fair amount of that. And then just heard this morning that the governor today is announcing another 12 billion over 2 years with respect to homelessness. Large amounts going back to home key. Also, a new one that I think is vital, the significant amount of money to behavioral health for conservatorships and supportive housing. Also, it's a long list, and I'm sure we'll break through that and hear about it later. But it's Christmas in May. I guess we have a lot of money that we need to spend. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right.
One-time money.
Yeah.
One time.
Yep. All right. So with that, we'll move to board correspondence.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. In correspondence, we have 2 items. One from the Global Economic Impact Group, a thank you letter for your support on the Youth Adult Reentry Partnership, and from Tim O'Laughlin, a copy of a petition to the State Water Board in 2021 for the transfer of 1,539 acre-feet from Clifton Court Farms to the Westlands Water District. Upcoming meetings and events. Tomorrow, they're at 10 a.m. The Peace Officers Memorial will be held out in the courtyard. Tickets will be required to attend. And for the next 2 weeks of agenda items, next week we'll have an admin COVID-19 update. Behavioral health will bring an agreement with Kingsview for electronic health record system. From Human Services Agency, a resolution regarding the General Assistance Program. From the Job Training Office, an approval of local and regional workforce strategic plans. From Public Works, a resolution certifying that the Kings counties maintain road mileage for the year 2020. And from the Ag Commissioner, an amendment with the state for the county's noxious weed program. In 2 weeks from now, from the Ag Commissioner, an agreement with the state for the inspection of fruits and vegetables. Also an agreement with the state for detection of European grapevine moth. So a lot of good work there. Human Services Agency will bring in a second amendment to an agreement with West Hills Community College for CalWorks training, and agreement with West Hills Community College for GED prep, remediation, and testing. And Public Works will bring their fiscal year 21-22 Senate Bill 1 road project list. Thank you. That's it.
All right. Well, we've reached that time in the agenda. We do have at 11 o'clock, the California Community Housing Authority regular meeting scheduled for 11 o'clock. And we do not have a closed session scheduled for today, but we do have a public hearing scheduled for 10 a.m. So we'll take a short recess and come back with you at 10 a.m. We will come back into order at this time and move back to the 10 a.m. public hearing. And so we have a public hearing this morning from the Public Health Department.
It's again to me. I'd much rather taking that money, tickets.
I believe Clarissa is online.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This is Ed Hill with Public Health. Sorry, are you ready for the presentation?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
So today we are requesting your board conduct a public hearing, waive the second reading, and adopt an amendment to Article 3, Chapter 2, Section 2-40 of the Kings County Code of Ordinances relating to the First 5 County Children and Families Commission. As you may recall, last year the commission was advised that according to statute and local ordinances, the commission was entering into agreements without proper delegated authority by the board. Since then, all contracts and agreements have been brought to your board for approval. At the commission's February meeting, the commission voted to recommend to the board that the ordinance pertaining to the commission's legal status be amended to establish the commission as a legal public entity separate from the county. Becoming a separate legal entity capable of entering into contracts on its own will allow the commission to carry out intent of Proposition 10 and to provide services to Kings County children ages 0 to 5 and their families in a timely and efficient manner. Contracting delegation for First 5 was brought to your board in November, and it was determined at that meeting that that we delay this item until April due to the current situation with the COVID-19 pandemic. As such, we did bring the introduction to this ordinance amendment to your board on April 27th, which was approved. There is no fiscal impact with this recommended action, and County Council has reviewed and approved the ordinance as to form. Therefore, we are requesting your board conduct a public hearing, waive the second reading, and adopt an amendment to Article 3, Chapter 2, Section 2-40 of the Kings County Code of Ordinance relating to the First 5 County Children and Families Commission, and direct the clerk of the board to publish the summary of the ordinance in the Hanford Sentinel. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any questions, comments from the board? Okay. With that, we will move to the public hearing. So at this time, do we have any public comment on the item?
I have no one with their hand raised, and I do not have any written comments.
Okay. Seeing that we have no comments, we will move out of the public hearing and back into deliberations with the board. And so at this time, board, what is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Verboen, second by Fagundes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor, motion carries. Thank you for that. And now we have reached the end of the meeting. As a reminder, we do have at 11 o'clock the California Community Housing Authority regular meeting. And if there's no further information to come before the board at this time, then meeting will be adjourned. Thank you.
Have to get you some gig copa with some.
All righty. Well, it's 11 o'clock and so it is Tuesday, May 11th, and this is the monthly meeting of the California Community Housing Agency. Would you please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Here.
Richard Valley,
Here.
Doug Verboon,
Here.
Craig Peterson,
Here.
Richard Fagundes.
Here.
Okay, we have 5 present. This time we'll move to approval of the minutes
Approve, we approve
from
the
April
minutes.
6th. April 6th.
April 6th, 2021.
Next seconds.
Okay.
Good enough.
Motion and second. Now, please call roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We move now to the consent calendar.
We approve the consent calendar as presented, both A and B.
Second. Yeah.
Okay, we have motion and second. Please call the roll.
Excuse me, who was the second on that?
Fagundes.
Fagundes.
Okay, very good.
Keep up.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, again, we have 5 in favor and motion carries. Moving to item 4, which is public comment. Any person may address the board at this time on any item on the agenda or other items of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. And 2 minutes are allowed for each item. Oops, excuse me, 5 on that one. Do we have any public comment?
We do not have anyone with their hand raised and no written comments.
All right, thank you. Let's see, this is item 5, which is staff updates, and I don't see anyone on the line unless they're there. Hello?
No, I don't have any of their staff online.
Okay,
Oh,
that makes it
Being right,
that much easier. Moving to item 6, which is,
getting on right now.
oh, okay. Caitlin,
Good morning.
good morning. Do you have any staff updates for us today?
We have no staff updates, and I apologize for being a few minutes.
No worries. All righty, thank you for that. Any further items to come before the board this time? If not, meeting adjourned.
Saturday.